Welcome in, everybody. Ready for a fascinating deep dive today.
Absolute.
We've got something special lined up. We're going to be exploring 50 biblical journal prompts.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. And they're organized into 5 really intriguing categories, all designed to kind of like enhance your spiritual journey.
Oh, that's awesome. It's such a great way to, I think, dive deeper into your faith.
Yeah. And you know what I love about these prompts? It's like
Yeah.
regardless of where you are in your faith journey,
Exactly.
these questions can really resonate with anyone.
Yeah, they're really designed to kind of meet you right where you're at.
Totally.
Yeah.
So to give us a bit of a roadmap here, the categories are God's promises, strengthening faith, prayerful reflection, living a life of purpose, and then finally embracing God's love.
Oh, I like that.
So each one's like a different lens,
Yeah.
for exploring our relationship with God.
It's like having this whole toolbox
Yeah.
full of different instruments to work on your spiritual growth.
Love it. And the best part is you get to choose like which tools resonate with you the most at any given time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's start with God's promises. Okay, these prompts are like this incredible reminder of God's unwavering commitment to us, right?
Absolutely.
They offer such a sense of comfort and security, especially when like the world feels kind of crazy and unpredictable.
Yeah, I think of them as kind of like invitations to ground yourself in the bedrock of faith.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, like remember that even when things are stormy, there's that anchor holding you steady.
I love that analogy. And speaking of anchors, the first prompt kind of dives right in. It asks, what does it mean to you that God promises to never leave you or forsake you?
It's a good one.
Yeah, and it references Hebrews 13.5. But it doesn't stop there. It goes on to say, reflect on a time when you felt God's presence during a difficult season.
Yeah,
So it's not just about reading the promise, right?
Right.
It's about connecting it to your own experiences.
totally. It's about taking these like big sweeping biblical promises and making them personal.
Mhm.
Asking yourself like, where have I seen this promise come to life in my own life? How has God shown up for me? Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like taking that concept of God's faithfulness
Yeah.
and giving it a story, a memory.
Yes. And that can be so powerful.
So powerful.
Yeah.
It's such a source of comfort and strength.
Especially when you're going through like new challenges,
Right.
Knowing that God has been faithful in the past, it gives you that confidence for the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to our next category.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about strengthening your faith.
Okay.
I'm really excited about this section because these prompts go beyond, just accepting beliefs.
Right.
They really encourage us to actively engage with our faith, to really wrestle with it.
Yeah, like wrestle with those big questions, explore those doubts.
Yeah.
And I think you end up coming out the other side with like a much deeper understanding of what you believe.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And one that really caught my eye is this one. It says, reflect on the story of Abraham's faith in Genesis 22. How does his trust in God's provision inspire you to deepen your own faith?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's a challenging story,
It really is.
to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
But it really gets you thinking about, the nature of faith and what it means to truly surrender to God's plan.
Yeah, it's not just a historical account,
Yeah.
It's like a mirror reflecting our own struggles with faith.
Wow.
It asks us, like, what does it mean to trust God even when his plan doesn't make sense to us?
Yeah.
Are we willing to take that step of faith even when it's scary?
That is such a powerful question. And I think it resonates with so many of us.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, for sure.
We all face those moments where we have to decide, like, do I trust in God's goodness even when I can't see the whole picture?
Absolutely.
It's a tough one. And that's where I think these prompts could be so valuable.
I agree.
They provide this framework for really grappling with those questions.
Yeah.
And deepening our understanding of faith.
Like as a lived experience,
Yeah.
not just a set of beliefs.
Oh, true. Okay, so moving right along, we come to prayerful reflection.
Okay.
This category emphasizes prayer as this two-way conversation with God.
Yeah.
It's not just about talking at God,
Yeah. It's about developing this relationship built on listening, on trust, on honest communication.
I love and I think of prayer as like this sacred dialogue,
Mm.
a place where you can like pour out your heart to God,
Yeah.
but also just be still and listen for those whispers of guidance.
And one prompt that really grabbed my attention in this section was, how do you listen for God's voice during prayer? Write about how you make space to hear his guidance and how it influences your decisions.
Oh, that's good.
It's such a good reminder that prayer isn't just about asking for things, right?
Right.
It's about being open to receiving God's direction for our lives.
It's about recognizing that prayer is not one-sided,
Right.
It's a back and forth. It's a relationship where we talk, but we also listen, we
Mhm.
share our needs, but we also seek God's wisdom.
So true. So it's not just about finding the right words to say,
Yeah.
It's also about cultivating that inner stillness and that receptivity
Yeah, that willingness to
to
listen,
hear God's voice in the quiet of our hearts.
which can be so hard in this world. It really can.
Like everything is screaming for our attention.
Exactly. These prompts encourage us to create that space, to quiet the noise and to listen for that still small voice inside.
I love that.
And speaking of finding our way, that leads us perfectly into the next category,
Okay.
living a life of purpose.
Ooh.
I love these prompts.
Yeah.
They're all about empowering you to discover and live out your unique God-given purpose.
It's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah,
Each prompt is a clue.
leading you closer to your calling.
Yeah, I love that. It's about recognizing that your talents and passions,
Mm-hmm.
they're not random,
Right.
They're part of a bigger design.
They're a gift.
God has equipped you to make a difference.
And one prompt that really nails that idea is reflect on Ephesians 2.10 and how you are God's handiwork. What unique gifts and talents has God given you to fulfill his purpose?
Beautiful.
Beautiful reminder that we're each a masterpiece,
Yes.
created intentionally,
with purpose.
with purpose. And Ephesians 2.10, it's not just a nice sounding verse.
Right.
It's a statement about our inherent worth and dignity.
We're made in the image of God.
Right.
And that means we carry a spark of the divine within us.
It's like saying, hey, you're not just good at this by chance. There's a bigger picture here,
A reason.
a reason. And realizing that can be so empowering.
Totally. It changes how we see our talents.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just personal things,
Mm.
we see them as tools for serving God, for
Right.
serving others.
It's about aligning our passions with our purpose.
Yes.
Finding that sweet spot where our gifts meet the needs of the world.
That's where the fulfillment is.
Absolutely. When we live out our God-given purpose, it's
Yeah.
like we tap into this well of joy
And satisfaction.
that you can't find anywhere else.
I agree.
So true. So we've explored God promises.
Yeah.
We've talked about strengthening our faith. We've delved into prayerful reflection, and we've discovered the power of living a life of purpose.
Yeah.
But there's one more category to uncover.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's all about embracing God's love. These prompts are like this warm embrace,
Yes.
reminding us of God's unconditional love and acceptance.
It's about letting go of that striving, like trying to earn God's love
Yeah.
and just resting in the truth that we are already fully known.
And fully loved.
Yeah.
And one that really stood out to me here asks, how do you feel knowing that God's love for you is unconditional? And it references Romans 8.38-39. But it goes on to say, reflect on how this truth affects your relationship with him.
Yeah.
It's such a profound question because it challenges us to really examine how this truth impacts our relationship with God.
Absolutely. It's about moving beyond that fear of judgment, and really experiencing the transformative power of God's love.
It changes everything.
When we truly grasp how deeply God loves us.
It does. It frees us to be more authentic,
Yeah.
more vulnerable in our relationship with God.
We can let go of those masks
Yeah.
of pretending.
And we don't have to hide our imperfections.
And that vulnerability creates space for such a deeper connection.
A deeper intimacy,
So true. It allows us to experience the fullness of God's grace and mercy.
Absolutely.
So we've mapped out this incredible journey through these 5 categories.
Yeah.
Each one offers a different perspective on spiritual growth,
Mhm.
inviting us to explore our relationship with God in a new light.
And this is just the beginning.
Exactly.
These prompts are like doorways,
Yes.
to deeper discoveries.
It sparks something.
What matters is how you engage with them,
Mhm.
how you let them shape your journey.
So true. So I'm curious to hear more about how these prompts can actually be used,
Yeah.
like in practical ways. Can we dive into some specific examples within each category
Sure. Let's do it.
to really illustrate their potential impact?
Absolutely. Okay, so within God's promises, there's this prompt that I really love.
Okay.
It asks, how do you find comfort in the promise that God is your refuge and strength? It even references Psalm 46.1.
Oh, I love that verse. Yeah. And it goes on to say, write about how this promise brings you peace in times of uncertainty.
It's such a powerful image,
Yeah.
like God being our safe haven, a strong tower, a rock that we can cling to when everything else feels shaky.
It's like having that secret fortress
Yes.
to retreat to when the world gets too overwhelming.
And it encourages us to think back,
Yeah.
to those times when we've actually experienced that.
Yeah.
Like, When have we felt God's presence as a source of strength and peace?
Right. When you've gone through maybe a personal crisis or a time of grief,
Mm-hmm.
even just a season of like crazy stress.
Yeah.
Think about those moments when you really felt God's protection and his presence.
It's about remembering those times and drawing strength from them.
Exactly. And you build that confidence in God's support.
So good. Okay, so moving on to strengthening your faith.
Okay.
One that really struck me was, what does it mean to you to walk by faith and not by sight?
Oh, yeah.
And it references 2 Corinthians 5:7.
I love that one.
It's such a powerful reminder that faith isn't always about having it all figured out
Right.
or seeing the complete picture.
It's about trusting in God even when we don't get it.
Yeah. And trusting his plan for our lives.
Even when it doesn't make sense.
And this prompt challenges us to think about how we actually live that out,
Yeah.
in our daily lives. Like, are we willing to step out in faith even when we're scared?
To embrace the unknown.
Yeah, to go beyond just believing in God to actually living out that belief.
At every part of our lives.
I think about the story of Peter walking on water,
Oh, yeah.
He was doing great as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus.
Yeah.
But the moment he focused on the waves and started doubting, he began to sink.
It's such a good visual.
It is. It's like our focus can either strengthen or weaken our faith.
Exactly. And I think that principle applies to so many areas of life.
It does. Our relationships, our careers, our dreams, even our struggles. This prompt really encourages us to look at where we might be holding back.
Yeah, where that fear and doubt is creeping in.
Instead of trusting God's guidance.
So true.
Okay, so let's dive into prayerful reflection.
Okay.
There's a prompt here that asks, what role does gratitude play in your prayers?
Oh, I like that one.
Me too. And it goes on to say, reflect on how thanking God regularly changes your heart and perspective.
It's about shifting our focus,
Yeah.
from always asking for things to taking time to appreciate.
To be thankful.
Yeah, even when things are hard.
And when we cultivate that gratitude,
Yeah.
it really does transform our whole outlook.
It does. It's like choosing to see that glass half full.
Even when we're going through tough times.
And that can be so powerful.
So powerful. Okay, now let's move on to living a life of purpose.
Okay.
One prompt that stood out to me here asks, what is one way you can live out your faith in service to others?
I love that.
Me too. And it goes on to say, reflect on how acts of kindness and love reflect God's character.
It's a call to action,
It is.
It's about remembering that faith isn't just something we believe in our heads. It's
Mhm.
something we live out.
In our actions.
Right. It's about putting God's love on display.
Through how we treat others.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be some grand gesture.
No.
Even the smallest acts of kindness done with a loving heart can make a difference.
Think about Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
She spent her whole life serving the poorest of the poor.
Such an inspiration.
And even though her actions seemed small on their own, they created this ripple effect of love and hope.
It's a good reminder that we don't need a huge platform to make an impact.
No, we don't.
We can start right where we are.
With the people around us.
Exactly.
Mm.
Okay, and finally, let's explore embracing God's love.
Oh.
There's a prompt here that asks, how do you share God's love with others?
Oh, that's a good one.
It is. And it continues.
Yeah.
Write about how you demonstrate Christ's love in your relationships and community.
It's a challenge,
It is. It's about becoming channels of God's love
letting it flow through us.
and touch the lives of those around us
Because God's love isn't meant to be kept to ourselves. It's meant to be shared.
freely and generously.
So it's about asking ourselves, how are my words and actions reflecting God's love? Am I being patient? Am I being kind? Do I forgive easily?
Those are the things that really show God's love.
Yeah, it's about how we live our lives.
I love how these prompts take these big, complex ideas about faith
Yeah.
and bring them down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
They make them personal and practical.
And that's the power of journaling.
Yeah.
Gives you that safe space to really think things through.
To process your thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, and to connect with God on a deeper level.
It's like having this conversation with yourself, guided by these thought-provoking questions.
And those conversations can lead to some amazing insights.
And real transformation.
Absolutely. Because journaling is about more than just writing things down.
It is.
It's about engaging with your thoughts and feelings, exploring what they mean.
And letting them shape your life for the better.
Exactly.
It's like these prompts are more than just writing exercises,
They're like invitations.
To go deeper.
Yeah, to deeper self-reflection,
Yeah.
spiritual growth.
And a more fulfilling life.
Absolutely. And what's so fascinating to me is they really highlight how active faith is.
Yeah, it's not passive at all.
It's not just about accepting things blindly.
Right. It's
Yeah.
about engaging with what you believe.
Wrestling with it. Exploring your doubts.
And coming out stronger on the other side.
Yeah, with a deeper understanding of God and yourself.
I love that. It's about making faith a lived experience.
Yeah.
Not just a set of rules or rituals.
Exactly. It's about truly living it out.
And journaling is so powerful for that.
It is.
It gives you that space to process everything.
Your thoughts, your emotions, all those questions.
And connect with God in a deeper way.
It's like taking those abstract ideas of faith and making them real.
Making them personal.
Transformative.
Exactly.
So powerful. Well, as we wrap up our deep dive into these 50 prompts, I want to leave everyone with this thought.
Okay.
It's not about getting it right.
Or having all the answers.
It's the journey.
Yeah. The seeking and discovering.
Being open to new possibilities.
And deeper truths.
Recognizing that faith is this lifelong journey.
Of growth and transformation.
And you never know what you might find along the way.
That's the exciting part. So as you reflect on all of this, I want to leave you with one final question to ponder.
Okay.
How might engaging with these biblical journal prompts influence your daily life and your decisions?
Yeah. Maybe you'll become more aware of God's presence in your everyday life. Or maybe you'll discover a new sense of clarity about your purpose.
Yeah. How you can use your gifts to serve others.
Because these prompts are more than just exercises. They have the power to really shape our lives.
So I encourage you to approach them with an open heart and a curious mind.
Yeah.
Let yourself be challenged, to be stretched, to be transformed.
Don't be afraid to dive deep.
We've only scratched the surface today, but hopefully this deep dive has inspired you to explore these prompts further and discover the power of journaling for yourself.
Absolutely. Keep seeking, keep exploring.
Keep diving deep.
Until next time.